Arknights Endfield. Thoughts about playing it for 100 hours. You know what? This is the power of the World Wide Web, right? This is the power of globalization. You don't have to play the game to find out how the game is like anymore. As much as, I would have loved to continue playing Arknights Enfield. We simply got way too little time, right? I'm overworking for 20,000 different things. So it's good to see that we have smugslav with a diabolical thoughts after playing Arknights Enfield for 100 hours. So let's see what's up.
Arknights Enfield is a highly anticipated upcoming gacha game made by Hypergriff, the studio behind Arknights. But calling Enfield just a gacha game would honestly be a huge disservice to the game
Oh, and also we lost 50-50, so I lost my interest. It is what it is.
itself, since Enfield feels, looks, and plays like a premium AAA title. From the incredible graphics and detailed characters to the world and the satisfying combat. Endfield plays more like a modern JRPG game that has a huge emphasis on base building like Satisfactory or Factorio. You can't climb or swim like the classic open world RPG games, but you can build gadgets and place different buildings that can change the overall landscape and have a huge impact in the world. It is really enjoyable, and sometimes it even feels like you are playing a sandbox game. Enfield is currently having its first closed beta, and I have now put over 100 hours into it since it came out. And let me tell you that I've barely scratched the surface of what the game has to offer, both mechanically, exploration-wise, and combat-wise. Also keep in mind that the game is in its first closed beta test, and things can always change and more things can be polished and added.
Dude, for a first beta, it's honestly crazy, bro. Like, the level of quality that Andrew has for, like, the first ever CBT is absolutely diabolical. If you wanted to ask me, right, if the game launched at this state as it is right now, I will honestly be like, you know what, sure, just go for it. Because I don't even think I experienced that many bugs during my playthrough. If any bugs at all, actually. Almost a no bug playthrough. Very, very, very well polished.
Its first closed beta test and story presentation in Arknights Enfield, and I will keep this completely spoiler free since I want people to experience it by themselves. The story feels good and is constantly engaging you as the player with different cinematics, different characters always having moves and having different poses. The game constantly does unique character angles while they talk, so you'll feel more engaged, and it is because Enfield does one big thing that I like, and that is show and tell the story. For example, one big thing that I really enjoyed is the combat briefings before big story missions, where they would show you the current mission you were going for, the map, and the current objective in a stylistic 3D way, where it always felt like I was playing something similar to Metal Gear Solid.
This reminds me quite... Okay, I'm not sure if... Okay, I wholly ungame StarCraft 2. When you were playing through the campaign missions, right before you go into any campaign, they will always have this little screen that gives you like this mission brief of like where do you want to kill. Like, are you gonna kill Embermans? Right? Which outpost are you going for? Which base are you building? Right? What's the objective of the mission? And I think it's like a very, very similar thing that they've done here for Arknights, which is very, very nice.
Acting of characters feels extremely polished as well, since every single character has a unique accent to them, depending on what region they are from, and it portrays the characters' emotions even more. All in all, to keep it short, I thoroughly enjoyed myself with the story, since it never felt like the characters were just standing there, staring at each other and constantly talking. Also, no black screen cuts of important things.
Okay, let's call... Okay, bro is taking jabs. Bro is taking jabs. I'm gonna have to kill him. In-game, right? In-game.
As said, the game does one tremendous job of showing and telling you the story and the narrative. Alright, now it's...
I mean, he's right though, right? So, Bro, I swear, like, we always acknowledge where we can improve. And you know what? He's right, So I have nothing to say.
Time to talk about the gameplay and the world. As you can see, your team consists of 4 characters, and one big thing is your whole team is present at all times. Something similar to games like Dragon's Dogma and the Xenoblade series. As you are running around the world as a team, the characters interact between each other with different lore drops, jokes, and also help you in giving tips if there are rare minerals or collectibles nearby. They also help you out when farming resources in the open world. The combat revolves around unique interactions between them, and it just brings more life to the game as you are playing it. As previously said, the gameplay is not open world, but it relies on big zones and biomes, where the zones have more world in them than open world games. What I mean by that is that the zones are big and they are always filled with stuff to do. Be it
Holy shit, bro. Look at this. Okay, wait, is this even HD? This is a crazy ass quality, bruh. Oh my god. It's a crazy, crazy ass quality.
and they are always filled with stuff to do, be it finding secret areas, unlocking new
Holy shit, dude. Honestly insane.
areas by progressing your zone, many different collectibles, building towers and changing the zone to your will, building ziplines for fast traveling, putting time into your factory and changing the landscape and many different things. Since the game doesn't have climbing and flying, it relies on multi-level design, where you can find and open many different shortcuts by crafting explosives and using them to blow up a new pathway, power up different jump cables and pads to get to the higher grounds, or lower ropes to make access to new stuff and new areas easier. Honestly,
So executive account. Okay, we're gonna play this game. We'll play for sure. Okay, but the thing is, right? I think this is also one of the points where I'm a little bit more concerned, which is it does appear to be a main game gacha game. I think we can agree that games like Zenless and like Honkai Starbucks, they are not really like main game gacha games. It's not really meant for you to play like hours and hours and hours and like retry as you retry Similar Universe, retry the MOC, retry Zero Cycles. I mean, you could, or like retry Battle Tower. You could do that, but like these are like add-ons. I feel like for Endfield, it's almost like a necessity to sink a lot of time in this game. Because bro hasn't even touched on the goddamn base building, which is like a whole other topic itself. Just from like making the landscape exploration more accessible, from like the cables and like the levels and different things, it does look to be a pretty considerable time sink, which I'm slightly concerned for, because you know your stream is always over.
Honestly, as I was playing and exploring the level design, to me it felt like the original Dark Souls, where many different things are interconnected, and once you open or solve a puzzle, you feel immense satisfaction from it, and you are like surprised how everything is so well connected. The huge maps also feel unique in their design and have different biomes. Some maps have more integrated sci-fi and technology to them, some are more open world and cozy, some are big factories where it feels like you are playing a near game, and some are just insanely cinematic and beautiful. The sound design is really good, but I have to say that I hope they work more on the background soundtrack of some maps, since some maps just lack that distinct background sound design to them. But as I said, it is beta and they are constantly sending us surveys and actually asking these questions, especially when it comes to
devs
map
listen.
design.
Yo, editor, devs listen on the thumbnail, right? Devs, we always use dev listen.
One thing I also want to mention is that some maps have a mini factory system called Outposts that you can upgrade by putting necessary resources into it. What this does is it upgrades that map's outpost and changes the surroundings of that map area. You can also raise or lower the world level of that zone once that outpost is a certain level. Raising the zone, of course, increases the level of all enemies and bosses on the map. It gives you better and increased item drop quality, and also provides you with more minerals and many other different things.
Okay, wait, hold up. Level 65, protocol capacity, I think that is for like your base. Zip line placement from 15 to 20. Combat placement from 8 to 10. More mining spots and mining efficiency, so you get more materials essentially,
like giving you the ability to put more gun towers or zip lines around the map. All of this now brings me to the combat system, and let me be clear, the combat system is not your average spam hack and slash action based combat, but it is more of a style of a JRPG.
I've heard a lot of negative perceptions towards Enfield's combat by quite a couple of people that actually managed to play. I thought it was not too bad, right? Because I did play with Xenoblade Chronicles before, so it was quite interesting. But let's see how this goes.
Still action combat, but it emphasizes more on the tactical and positional aspect, and has very different.
Oh my lord, I'm not even kidding. If I didn't lose my 50-50 to the stupid ass guy, I would have continued playing. But holy shit, dude, it's like, you know, it is what it is.
Reactions of its combat and elemental reaction system. Visually, it is really pleasing and has so many different layers of team building. And I personally love that there are so many interactions between the character combos. I will try to keep this segment as simple as possible, but the overall combat loop is you have basic attacks, skill attacks, combo attacks, which are pretty much QTEs that trigger, depending on your team, different reactions, and ultimates that have their own bar that is filled by using skills and combo skills. Skills have no cooldown because everything is connected to that yellow bar at the bottom, which is the skill system. The yellow bar regenerates slowly over time, but executing different combos or skills or having different gear allows you to generate the bar faster. Now, there are both physical
didn't dodge.
reactions and elemental reactions. Physical statuses, you can do something like knockback, lift up, knockdown, counterattack, and these can all be reacted to each other. For example, if you use a skill that does lift up, if
he's dead! Yo, Pioneer will revive his ass.
it will apply a debuff called lifted, where the skill lifts up the enemy and it makes it levitate in the air. Then, if you have a character and a skill that has a knockdown effect, that character can use that knockdown effect to slam the enemy into the floor, applying a knockdown effect, where it will be stunned for several seconds while it's trying to get up. Physical reactions are great for stunning and building faster stagger on the enemy bar. Alongside this, we also have elemental reactions that have 3 categories: Arts Infliction, Arts Burst, and Reaction. Arts Inflictions are status debuffs like Fire, Cryo, Nature, and Electricity, but Arts Bursts are when you do
quite a lot.
of
It's
the
quite a
same
lot.
elemental attacks on the enemy, which causes different elemental bursts of damage. And finally, one of the best things is we have reactions of all these different elements, like Combust, Electrify, Solidify, and Corrode. They all do different reactions depending on what you do. Some make the enemy take more damage from all elements, complete freeze, or we have something like the Corrode debuff, which reduces defense on the enemy over time.
Oh, we need
I will
Cassandra for
stop
that,
at this because I don't want to make this whole video
I
just
don't think there was a single. Was there any grass unit? I can't remember getting a grass unit except for the one of the limited units that we tried in the trial stage. But yeah, we need like a Cassandra.
about the combat. All you need to know that it is tactical,
Gilberta.
it is really engaging, and has a lot of depth, and most importantly, it feels extremely satisfying to play.
Okay, I feel like wait. There's a lot of depth, and I feel that this exact same sentiment has been said for like all of the combat games that have been released in 2024. You have the ability to do all these things. There's depth, but there's a difference between whether or not you want to care about these depth, or can you just spam left click and just go. And I think that's very, very important. So, for example, right, in like Zelda Zone Zero, you could do your Kara cancel, you can do your animation cancels, you know, you can weave in your chain attack, you can do whatever it is. Watering Wave, same thing, right? You can do the Jiyan combo, quick swap, the double intro skill for Jiyan. There's a lot of things that you can do to make this combat more dynamic and like you can play better. But I think most casuals probably wouldn't be that concerned with it. From the way it looks right now, and this is just a combat, it's a very hefty meal, right? This is like a full course, like super, super big meal that you probably are gonna take quite a while to finish the whole thing. And some people might be a little bit overwhelmed by just how many things are getting tied to Endfield. From the combat to the exploration to the base building. And I don't even think and bro played for 100 hours and he said he's barely scratching the surface, right? So yeah, that's it.
I love when I have
Let's
the
build
ability
gun,
to
true.
pull off like 4 to 5 different character combos back to back to back to back. And most importantly, it enables each and every single character to be useful and shine. While we are on the topic of combat, I really
Holy
want to mention
shit! That's a giant boss right there. Yo, Jarvis, clip that.
one big thing, and it is the different enemies, elites, and bosses in Arknights Endfield. Because the elite and boss fights really feel like elite and bosses, where they have different combos, hit really hard, have different unique mechanics and skills to them, and they feel
Bro,
really
this is
fun to
Millennia.
battle against. Some
Blade of
enemies and
Mikola.
elites also have different phases or different berserk stances, and also they have the stagger bar.
Bro, this is
where
what Elden
once you
Ring, bro.
fill it up, they get stunned. But not only that, your character can perform a big cinematic stagger attack once they get stunned, where the camera slightly zooms in and the character does a unique special attack depending on the character that you are currently using,
When you break,
which
right?
makes
Yep,
the
the
staggering
special
of
break
the enemy
animation.
even more satisfying. Also, each elite and boss has strong moves and grabs like you are playing a Sekiro boss, where you can interrupt them with your
Okay.
skills.
I'm always a little bit skeptical. Like the last time we said, like, oh, this game is the Elden Ring of gacha games. Turns out it's really not. So to compare this to the GOAT like Sekiro, I'm honestly a little bit skeptical. I have finished the entirety of Sekiro, and their combat system was. Oof. I still remember our first boss fight with Genichiro. Holy shit, dude. We'll see how this cooks. We'll see how this cooks.
But if you don't, they can either grab one of your characters and one-shot them, or go full berserk and do a Tekken wombo combo on your ass. So the learning curve is really satisfying when it comes to elites and bosses.
That's good then, that's good.
And now it is factory discussion time. The children yearn for the mines and the
Oh,
factory must
no!
grow. Now, as mentioned earlier, the game has a big emphasis on factory gameplay similar to games like Satisfactory and Factorio.
I've
When you
never
first
played it in my
see
life.
it will feel
Never.
intimidating, but the game has a really well-made tutorial and simulation where it teaches you each specific thing about the factory and how to play it. I can promise you
Okay.
that if you try and really give it a shot, you will quickly get hooked on it. The factory gives you the ability to make and produce almost all resources in the game automatically, crafting different potions and food buffs, increasing productivity for your own minerals and unique items, and it is constantly doing that while you are even offline. So if you build a good factory that produces
good.
materials, you go to bed, you wake up the next morning, bam, you have so many materials that you can use to craft your gear, stuff, and everything that you want.
Damn,
The
that's
factory
good.
is also really in-depth with its own skill tree and lets you just have fun building and producing stuff. It can take a while getting the hang of it, but once you finally get a rare material to start producing and everything works, nothing feels more satisfying than that. I have
I can
personally
attest to that, yeah.
deleted and started over my factory several times to make it more clean and produce materials that I need, depending on the different stages of the game I was. I honestly can see myself doing it over and over again because optimization is king and optimization
There's, bro, this looks like a fucking task manager process graph, bro. Your GPU, your CPU, what's the temperature? How is your memory? How is your RAM? Bro, that's crazy, dude. So this is the real endgame then. I'm actually quite interested to see if there's any endgame portions. Unless this is the endgame. So,
is addicting. You can
Damn.
feel that the developers put a lot of effort into this factory system. One big thing is that the factory system is used for crafting your character gears. Yes, you
Yep.
can just craft the gear you want for your characters. There is
Yeah,
no
bro, it's level
RNG
70.
involved when it comes to making it and equipping it to your characters. You can just make your factory produce the necessary materials, you go to bed, you wake up the next day, you can craft your gear whenever
there are no substats. Well, are there no substats in this game? Cause he just crafted it, right?
materials.
There are
You
no
go to bed,
substats in this
You
game.
wake up the next day, you can craft your gear whenever you have enough of those materials.
Are you guys sure? There's no substat in this game. Fixed stats for everything. RNG are essences. Oh, the thing that you infuse to your weapon, right? Okay.
And to me, it feels
Okay.
amazing just being able to craft.
Nah, okay, I'm not even saying this is like a good or bad thing because there has to be some layer of RNG besides the fact that you just pull for a 50-50, right? It's a goddamn gacha game.
Without any RNG involved, or spend months trying to get a few pieces for your characters to even be playable. I've really enjoyed this system, and anyone out there that is not a fan of RNG gearing will absolutely appreciate this system.
That's really,
But
really
you
good.
will ask me this: if the gear is not RNG,
Still the same thumbnail.
is there a way to give the player the chase of the absolute min-max of your characters? And there is. It is called Weapon Essence. Essences
okay, so
are
that's the one.
RNG items that drop from normal
Holy shit, that is a lot of essence.
world enemies, elites, bosses, and many different other gameplay systems that involve combat. Every weapon in the game has an essence slots in them, and slotting the essence in that slot will increase the stats of that certain weapon.
Okay, so it's like Monster Hunter decorations. Right? So it's exactly like decorations. You slot in your droves. Right? Droves? Right, okay.
It can go from giving you more stats like strength, agility, intelligence, to crit rate, crit damage, and even raising the unique status effects from that certain.
Personally, I hated the decoration RNG in Roads. I much more preferred it if you could just craft the decorations in like Rise and like GU, which has always been the case. And then the Roads, they changed it. But in the other games, it was like Charm. The Charm RNG. I think that was like, a lot better.
Weapon. I personally
The
really
Echo
like
Farm is
this
crazy,
system because it doesn't feel forced on you, since you can just go and equip an essence that gives you a main stat and a few other bonuses. And you are done, but for those that love the absolute chase of a min-max character, stats and weapons like me, this system is really fun because it engages you to play the game more, and it engages you to do open world combat and other gameplay modes. It is time to talk about the gacha. Let's gamble. So, there are only
Okay, I think after like hearing people talk about it, this gacha system, because at first when we first reviewed it, right, it was like we're kind of getting to know the system because I've never played before Arknights. So I think we have kind of established that after the Mifuyu tech support, this gacha is good, quite literally, if you're not greedy or stupid. It is what it is because you are using a completely separate currency, a free currency, to pull for weapons. And that technically saves you a lot more pulls, assuming you want to go for E0S1. And the bad thing about this is you have to commit. You have to go all in. Right? You can't not have self-control. Because for example, if you go all in for like let's just say 70 pulls you or 80 pulls you get a unit, or you lost a 50-50 and then you quit, that might be pretty bad, right? So it's quite bad for people who lack self-control, and I think it's quite bad for whales. But luckily, I think a lot of people have already attested to this, which is the islands, the dupes, they don't matter, or like they matter very very little. So stopping point of an E0S1 should be fairly attainable for most people. So yeah, I can't gamble every Jades now, KMS, and there
Two
it is.
gacha currencies in the game, special currency and normal currency. Special currency can be bought or it can be earned by playing the game and the main story. The special currency can also be exchanged into the normal one and used for pulls
Okay, so that's the 6-star. Right?
on the character banners.
'Cause it looks
is straight up
orange.
the same system
Okay, personally, I would have changed the orange to rainbow, because the orange and yellow they look way too similar. You know, make it rainbow or like purple, or like a red. You know.
as Arknights. The character rarities are 4-star, 5-star, and 6-star. The thing is, when you roll on the character banner, you only get characters. No weapons or other meaningless fluff stuff. Just characters. And I really appreciate this, since you can max dupe out your 4-stars and even 5-stars really fast. I also really need to put an emphasis that all characters are really strong. The 4-stars, 5-stars, and 6-stars all have their own unique gameplay to them, and you should not look at the rarity system so much when it comes to Arknights Endfield. Everyone is strong, it just depends on how you build your team and what characters you like playing.
I would be more wary of this, because this is the how many times have you guys heard this story before? Like this exact same story. When a gacha game first launched, everyone was like, yep, play whoever you like because everyone is strong, right? This has been the tale as old as time. For any brand new release gacha game, you can quite literally play anyone because it is a fresh new game, right? There's basically nothing too concerning for you to care about the meta. Nobody cares about meta when a game first. So technically, you can just run this with everything. Same thing happened for like every single gacha game. But I feel like eventually when we get to like 6 months down the road with all kinds of stuff, when like the end game gets a lot more of a priority, it's gonna be more impactful. Or I'm wrong? Arknight balancing is still good. Or I have the Hoyo brain rot. Oh, so Arknights, every single unit are just permanently good. Oh. Best unit in Arknight is a 4-star. You can still complete end game. Okay, I think completing an end game with starting characters is not enough to justify that they are the best in slot. Because there can only be one best in slot, right? If you make them clear, sure. But would you say like the 5-stars and 6-stars, they clear better than the 4-stars? Or is it literally just, oh, you can still clear 4-stars? Alright, there are many ways to clear a stage, absolutely. There are many ways to clear a stage. It's less effort. Okay, so 4-stars literally, they outperform 6-stars. So 4-stars would outperform 5-star and 6-stars. Because that's different from 4-stars can still clear. Because that doesn't mean they outperform. Sometimes. Okay. Some 4-stars. Okay. I think my main point is just I'll be a little bit more skeptical on like, you can play with everyone and everyone it is fine. Because that will always be the case for the start of the game. And then after a couple of months down the road, there will be a very clear definition of like who is actually kind of worth it. Cause I don't think a gacha game is like everybody's worth it. But that's just me personally.
Some 4-stars are insanely OP.
This ain't HSR level. I'll have you know a 1.0 DPS I set out can 0 cycle with 4-star supports. So shut the fuck up.
6-stars in terms of what they do. Now back to the character banner. The max pity is 80 and there is a 50-50 system. But if you lose the pity, you don't get the main character, you just need to roll 40 times more until 120 and you get the character guaranteed. So even if you lose the 50-50 at 80, the max pity is actually 120 for
Which
the
is a
guaranteed
lot
character.
lesser.
Comparing this to
Although Snow Shine's a goat.
other gacha games, where it can go to a full pity and be 160, it feels extremely good.
Yep.
Also, after
Yep.
the limited banner is over, the limited character will be added to the standard
Yeah,
banner,
that is
similar
really,
to how
really
it
good.
is in Arknights.
That is really,
So
really
in
good. I've
future
never experienced
patches,
that
when you
before.
lose the 50-50, you can get the limited characters that were added to the normal standard banner.
Yeah, see, Chad, if this was me, I would have still played the game. But the game wanna fucking give me Ling Yang. So, like, you know what? Fuck that shit, bro.
You don't need to wait for the character to come out again in a limited banner for like a year or 2 years if you missed it. And every time you pull on the character banner, you also get the weapon banner currency. For example,
Yep,
if
yep,
you
yep.
did 100 pulls on the character banner, you would also
I
get
pulled
the
3
equivalent of
suitors and
around
2
60 to
Yvonnes on your
70 pulls
fucking
for the
whale.
weapon banner depending on your luck. For each 4-star that you pull, you get 50 weapon currency. Each 5-star, you get 500. And each 6-star, you get 1,500 banner weapon currency. To do a 10 pull on the weapon banner, it is 2,980. So like 3,000. When it comes to the weapon gacha system and the currency, you can get a lot
I think
of
this is
weapons.
a really, really good weapon gacha system. Like, super, super good. Because you are basically getting this for free 99. I know some people say you can use your paid currency to convert, but I don't think anyone does it. I think this is one of the only systems, unless Arknights also does the same thing, where you can basically, like, quote unquote, get this for free. So that's like super, super good.
weapon pulls just by playing the game and the story. You can get it
Don't tell Reddit your opinion. Okay, this weapon system sucks ass. Alright, hell, all other games.
by pulling
absolutely.
on character banners, by completing endgame modes which give up to 20 pulls every week, or you can just swipe if you want. The big thing is, when it comes to the weapon banner, is that it is 25-75 ratio.
Okay,
So
but I think it's not even that because like it's 40-40 anyways, right? Like you're getting the weapon at 80 pulls regardless. Whereas like all these other games, you're basically getting it like around 60 to 70 anyways. So like, if you get it early, like at the 40th pull, it's considered lucky. Then on the general population, most of them get it at essentially the same number of pulls you would have taken for any other weapon, right? Except that this one is that you're using free 99.
it's 25%
Yeah, also 4% rate, which is fucking diabolical.
of getting the limited weapon, but don't freak out because the drop rate for the weapon banner is 4%
That's
for the
crazy, dude.
6-star weapon,
That's
which is
Nikkei level
5
crazy,
times more than in any of the Hoyoverse games like Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, or ZZZ, where it's
Actually, Zenless Zone 0 is 1%. Alright, put some respect to my goat's name. Alright.
0.8%. Also, for every 40 pulls that you do on the weapon banner, you are guaranteed a 6-star weapon drop. And the guarantee
Ding,
for the
ding,
limited
ding. Oh,
drop
man,
is
good enough, 40
80.
50 months.
So for example, if you
Samurai.
do 120
Happy.
pulls on the weapon banner, you will get a minimum of 3 6-star weapons if you go full pity each time. In the grand scheme of things, the 4% is huge. And in the current beta
dick,
test, I have gotten more 6
What the fuck? Bro, I swear, I went hard pity every single time. For that one day I played on the CBT. I lost my 50-50 on the stupid Leviathan banner. And I went to 40 pools and I got some random ass stupid weapon. And I had to go all the way in just for that one more 6-star, bro. Which basically means I'm building pity, right? I'm building pity. And, you know, by the time this game comes out, it's going to be fantastic.
star weapons in Endfield than I have ever in Honkai Star Rail or ZZZ by playing them for over a year. And
Diabolical,
that
bro.
says a lot. Do I defend the 25-75
My pulls are good.
ratio?
I got one every time.
No, I don't. But at this moment,
Maybe
it
just because I'm a
feels like a
Hoyo show, right?
superior
because
weapon banner
because
compared to
the game knows that I've Daois as a roommate, so they just hate me. Yeah, absolutely.
every other gacha game because of how many ways there are to acquire the gacha weapon currency. Also, the 4-star, 5-star,
my
and
watch.
6-star weapons all have unique designs, powers, and attributes to them, and everything feels good and usable to play. At the end, all I want to say is don't get it twisted because the character banner and the weapon banner are actually pretty good. Now that we are done with the weapon banner topic,
That's good.
let's talk about the daily loop, logging, and endgame that we currently have in the beta.
Okay,
So
I'm most interested in the endgame because I don't even think. Okay, wait, Genocide, don't even spoil me. But I'm really interested in what the my initial assessment was the endgame was the factorial. Like you just build a base, that's the endgame. That's just build the best base possible.
you have dailies and the stamina system as every gacha has. The
Okay.
dailies are really fast and you can get around 10 different things you can do every day. You need 100 points to complete the dailies, and missions give between 20 to 80 points. You can do and finish the dailies in about like 3 to 4 minutes. It's really fast, it's really flexible. The daily currency reward is 400, and for one pool on the banner is 500. We don't know how much stuff the monthly card will give or how Battle Pass will work, since those are currently not in the beta. The daily stamina system is called Sanity, and the cap is 360. Yes, you heard it right, it's 360 max stamina cap.
Oh my lord! So you can quite literally not play the game for like 2 days. I'm guessing this is like 2 days, right? Holy shit!
When you start playing
Almost
the game,
2
though,
days.
the stamina cap will start at around 140, but each time you level up your account, the stamina cap will increase by 5. The stamina cap maxes out at 360, or when your account hits level
Wait,
50.
I just realized his... Yo, Jenna said, you're level 52, yo, pack it up, buddy. It's time to go home. You're never catching up. Alright, let's just be real. You're never catching up, right? Bro is level 70. I don't know how the hell bro did it. There's no way you're catching up, alright? 1 million hours on puzzle. Bro, just released like an Endfield puzzle review. Here are my top 10 favorite puzzles of Arknights Endfields. And here's how you solve them. Yeah, I think at least that would be... Because there's no you compete with this guy for like a first impression.
Also,
anymore.
1 point of stamina recovers every 7 minutes, which is around 8.5 stamina per hour. The stamina can be spent on different rifts, which are combat-based dungeons where you can obtain different materials for upgrading and maxing out your characters. Pretty straightforward stuff. When it comes to other daily activities, you can do RE Crisis, which are world boss fights, Unstable Arenas, which are unique one-time challenge dungeons, and Energy Alluviums on each different map, which are open world rifts that you can interact with, and the enemies come in waves of normal enemies and elites that feel like mini-bosses. These are done for the RNG essence farming that are already mentioned earlier. Since
Is there a fun button? Wait, they actually do! Wait, you can do a fun button, right? This is the fun button. The guns are the fun button.
Energy Alluvium rifts are in the open world, you can also be pretty sneaky and just craft a fully
Oh my god, they
operational
actually have a
tower
fun
defense
button in this
mode
game.
with cannons and Tesla coils that can help you out in combat
Damn!
and pretty much just autoplay this stuff.
Okay, this
All
game
of these
basically has
things
everything.
that I mentioned don't require any stamina to interact with or play. They just have a small cooldown to them. Along that, you will also go around the map and pick up rare resources that spawn every day to further upgrade and min-max your characters, be it levels, skills, or upgrading weapons. The current only endgame mode that is in the game is called Algorithmic Memories, which is...
Holy shit, he cleared everything, man. Oh my lord. He actually cleared everything. Okay, I honestly would have preferred it if bro gave me a little bit of like a whatchamacallit, areas of improvement, because so far this review has been overwhelmingly positive. So if he says something like any things that you can improve on, that would be pretty good. But let's just
It's a mix of character parkour and boss rooms that also give you various different buffs and ways to approach combat, making it different before you even start the run. It has things like parkour, different puzzles, and boss combat.
The end games are the puzzles. Am I getting this right? The end game is the puzzle. So you have like platformers and like running and racing. So it's not really even the combat. This guy definitely isn't saying things that needs work. Okay? Jams brought thanks for the prime. We'll see this.
At this very moment, it feels a little bare bones, especially in the enemy variety department, but this is a great foundation for something amazing in the future. There is no time to beat it. You can just play it and finish it. There's no time limit. Personally, I find it really enjoyable to play at this moment, and I hope they further improve upon this idea. The current rewards are also really big since you get a ton of materials. For the gacha weapon currency particular, since it's 20 pools for gacha weapon currency a week. If this stays like it is, that means you can guarantee a bare minimum of 2 6-star weapons pools per month just by playing the game. So let's hope that it stays like this and it further gets improved upon when it comes to this mode. There are also many different things that I didn't mention or go in depth with, like the dorm system, being able to interact with all your characters, giving them gifts to increase more story and lore drops, seeing them in the open world doing their own things, and more in-depth factory combat mechanics and gameplay mechanics. Since this is my first ever review that I did, I wanted to keep it more on the simple side, but this
Oh,
game
but
has
this
such
is
an
this is considered the simple side. This game is gonna take a lot of time, man. I won't even guess. This is definitely gonna be a main game. Something has gotta go, man. Like if we're gonna play this game for real, something has gotta go.
abundance of different genres and gameplay systems all mashed into one big game that I just couldn't make it any shorter. I mainly wanted
Oh,
to
7 shut
give
the fuck up.
an overview
Wait,
of the game, and I can say that this beta has really left a huge positive impression on
This
me,
beta changed
more
everything.
than I thought it ever would. I will cover and release more videos when it comes to Arknights Endfield, be it combat, factory gameplay, showcasing of all the characters, and just make fun Endfield content. So if you are looking for that type of content, be sure to subscribe to this channel,
Let's
leave
play
a comment, and like the video.
now. Kuru happy Kuru sellout.
I'm dead.
Anyways, thank you all for watching, and as always, see you
Damn,
all
this
in
was
the
a
next one.
banger review, bro. Bro actually he basically kind of got all the main things down with the combat, the factory, world building, characters, and the gacha system, daily and stamina. I would like to see if there are any like drawbacks to the game, because I think having areas to improve will always be very good. So yeah, absolute banger of a review. With that we kind of come to the end. Word of the day is gonna be Yvonne, the OG Deikai of the Deikai. Join Twitch, join YouTube, join Discord, join Twitter, and join Twitter. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Take care. Yippee!